Hello traders, it is Wednesday, June 19th, and that means it's time for my weekly video. This week I'm going to do something a little bit different. The FOMC statement's going to be released in a couple of hours. The market is dead. So I thought I would take advantage of this opportunity and do a video during live market hours. Many of my members are day traders. In fact, most of them are. So I want to go through some of my day trading routines to show you how we find opportunities intraday. And then, yes, of course, I'm going to find some trades for the swing traders. So there'll be a little bit of something for everyone, and you will see prices updating live on Option Stalker. So before I get going, I want to mention that everything that you see today is available through Option Stalker. I'm also going to show you Option Chat, and we'll start there. And you can go to my website, www.oneoption.com, to sign up for everything. So let's get going with the chat room. I start with very extensive market comments at the beginning of the day, and you can see today's were particularly lengthy because we have a lot of moving parts, the FOMC being the biggest one. And if they remove the word patient from their statement today, the market is going to take off because it'll mean that they will probably reduce rates in July. I'm not in that camp. I think September is the earliest possible date that they might lower. And the reason I feel that way is because I don't think that the Fed wants to look like they're kowtowing to Donald Trump, who wants rates cut. I also think it would be a very dramatic shift for them to go from a very hawkish position just in December to a very dovish position 6 months later. Our economy is not in dire straits, and I don't see them taking a dramatic move like that. Right now, the market is pricing in 3 rate hikes in 2019, 3 rate cuts in 2019. I think that is way overly optimistic. I think we get 1, maybe 2, but even that I feel is a stretch. So I think we're set up for a little bit of disappointment. So as the day unfolded, we knew that it was going to be very quiet. I told members I'm not going to be trading much in the way of futures today because the market is going to be range bound, and we might find opportunities in some stocks. So that's where we're going to place our focus. And so you can see members like Dave pointing out Facebook is weak. We post all of our entries and exits in the chat room. The chat room is a separate subscription from Option Stalker. So if you're just looking for trade ideas, the chat room is great. But know that every one of those trade ideas comes from Option Stalker. That is the golden goose. And I do have some really good searches in Option Chat that update dynamically. And you can also see I've got a market rating. This is predictive, not reactive. So we pay close attention to the trend of this number. You can see it's been ticking lower. And then we have trade signals from the one option system on a 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour basis. You can see that they are negatively biased. Okay, so not much going on in the market right now, but I'm going to continue to look. Tesla weak. Dave mentions TLRY. I know that he got long TLRY. I'm not sure if I can find that post. But he bought TLRY. It turned out to be a very nice trade for him. I'm just letting everyone know you have to be very vigilant about your entry prices. Don't flex, don't budge. Let the market come to you. There, Dave takes profits on his TLRY. I bought Adobe. So this is about 25 minutes after the open. I post all my entries and all my exits. I bought Viacom, VIAB. Pointed out that BYND was weak. We've been following BYND. Adobe and Viacom both working. This is about 10 minutes later. I know that I placed in here that I put my stops at my entry price, so there was no way I was going to lose money on that. Took my gain in VIAB. That was about 15 minutes later. It was a nice little trade. Still long Adobe, grinding higher. Mentioning AXSM and AGN. Show you how I found those. I like NSC as a short. Also like UNP as a short. Not going to short them now, but I was saying today, if the FOMC has a negative reaction, those might be good stocks to watch. Letting everyone know I am bidding for futures at 2922.25. Once I enter my futures trades, I let everyone know what my target and my stop is. Only looking for a 1.5 gain. Got my mental stop here. Bought BYND. Talking a little bit about the Fed here. Dave is in ZM. Right up here. And here I'm letting everyone know that I'm planning on doing a video, and I scratched my ES trade and I took a small gain in BYND just so that I could flatten out. That way none of the members are wondering what I'm doing with my current positions, and so I'm conducting the video. This is option chat. This is what we do. We've got a lot of really good traders in here. We find stocks with relative strength and relative weakness. That is our edge. There are certain patterns that we also look for. We stick to posting symbols so that everyone can go and take a look at the symbol and know the pattern. They know the basis behind the trade when they look at it. So that's option chat. I'm going to log out and go to my home page so that you can see this is Option Stalker. Again, the website is www.oneoption.com. Spell it all out. $3.99 per quarter will get you Option Stalker and everything I'm about to show you. It includes real-time data. You do not need a new brokerage account. You don't need a separate data feed. You don't have to pay for data feeds. It's included in the platform. And Option Chat is a separate subscription. We just looked at that. It is $1.99 per quarter. So if you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube. I always start each video with a recap of my trades from the prior week. All of the trades that I highlighted. Not just the winners, all of them. And if you go and take a look at all the videos that I post on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to go back sequentially week after week after week after week. If you just watch the first 5 minutes of each video, you'll be able to piece together a track record. I'm certain you'll be impressed. What we do works, and I'd love to have you aboard. So let's get to it. Here's the SPY. You can see how we've been in a downtrend here. I'm going to take these signals off, and I'm actually going to take this indicator off. All of the really popular indicators that we use are toggle on, toggle off. They're all down in the bottom of Option Stalker. Very, very easy to use. I'm going to overlay some of the major moving averages. We use the 200, 100, and the 50-day. You can see the market is above all of them. Had a stiff sell-off below the 200-day moving average, a big bounce. This is when the Fed first said that they might be in a neutral stance and could actually be considering lowering rates. So we got that bounce right up through the 200-day and the 100-day moving averages. So really nice move, and that's when we knew we had to be long because the downtrend was broken and the major moving averages were also breached. So this is a nice move, but we were compressing in here. Doji, 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 doji. Open and close are almost equal. So not a lot of market movement, really no direction. This bounce had stalled, and in my last video, I really urged everyone not to trade. So please watch it. You'll see those comments. But if you were compelled to trade, the strategy to use right here was to sell out of the money bearish call spreads, call credit spreads. That is a neutral to slightly bearish strategy. And because we had stalled, I felt that there was a pretty decent chance that the market, if anything, could retrace a little bit. But we got this big gap higher yesterday, and most of that was driven by a tweet from Donald Trump that he would be meeting with Xi next week during the G20 meeting. And there was about a 50-50 proposition of that happening. We'd started to hear some rumblings, and there was a White House official who said there was about a 50-50 chance of it. Trump had referenced that tariffs will go up if Xi does not attend the meeting. Larry Kudlow, his economic advisor, said similar. So there had to be some signs that China might not attend that meeting. As soon as that tweet came out, the market shot higher. I think the S&Ps were up about 30 points. In that type of environment, when you're short call spreads, you can expect that you're going to take some heat on these positions. We were selling options with a June expiration this Friday. So let's take a look at them. Let's see how they did. We're going to go into the June 12th list right here. I clicked on lists. You can create any list that you want. And these were our picks from last week. We only had 3. Normally I'll have 6, maybe even 8 picks to review. Did not want to trade last week. So let's take a look at the loser first. We were going to lean on this 200-day moving average, and this is where we had seen Facebook a week ago. So that's Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday, Thursday. So this is where we would have entered the trade. You can see how the stock was moving higher, and our stop was at that 200-day moving average, which we gapped through, and it needed to be purchased in here. So there was about I figure about a 1-point loss on this trade. Facebook came out, they're getting into cryptocurrencies. The market liked the news. It was looking for any reason to rally the stock. Once it got up above the 200-day moving average, you probably saw a little bit of short covering, and that also fueled the move. Now you can see Facebook is relatively weak today, may even fall back below that 200-day moving average. So for this particular trade, if it was $1 loss, that is about a 25% loss on that trade. Nike has stayed below the major moving averages. These were our stops on a closing basis, stayed below the 100-day moving average. 84.50 was our short strike price, so we wanted to make sure that the stock was closing below that, which it did. You can see that today the stock is down. Time decay has been working in our favor. We've got some breathing room for a couple of days. This trade looks like it's going to be fine. Should be about a 25% winner if it expires worthless and stays below that 100-day moving average. Tesla has been moving higher. It's kind of a wild stock. You can see it closed below the 50-day moving average. That was our stop out point. And we're short the 235, 240 call credit spread. And that would also be about a 25% return if it expires worthless. Even though the stock has moved higher, time decay is starting to whittle away at these positions, and so they're getting cheaper by the minute with only 2.5 days left until expiration. We don't know how either of these two trades is going to turn out. With an FOMC meeting coming up today, I would say scratch it, take your profits, don't risk the stocks moving higher. I don't think the FOMC is going to cut rates in July. I think there's more of a chance for a negative reaction than a positive reaction. So you can wait until the results come out, or you can take small profits right now in both of those positions because of time decay. So the real point to last week's picks was don't trade. The market was going nowhere. We had dojis, indecision, flat market, could go either way. So let's do a neutral to slightly bearish strategy. Those were our picks. So this is a losing week because of Facebook. So call a spade a spade. We have them. The best trade would have been no trade this week. Really not a lot of movement. But we had a decent move yesterday, so we could get some real decent action today, especially if the Fed disappoints. So let's go through and I'm going to show you some of my opening routines, some of the things that I like to do right out of the gate. And I'm going to click on scanner. One of my first stops, be it for swing trades or, and you'll see this alert in the lower left hand corner. This was a stock that I had placed an alert on. This is how the alerts show up. So if I click this, it's going to go right to the chart and we'll be able to see. I'm sorry, I'm using recording software, so my platform's a little slow here. But by clicking that, it'll take me to the chart, and I'm having a hard time pulling that symbol up. And I forgot to mention one other thing. The videos that I record each week are posted in a pop-up bulletin along with my market comments. You simply go back and click on the market comments, and then you'll be able to catch up on all of the market analysis. And this is my video link from last week. So you'll see comments, you'll see the video link. Simply close it and you're off to the races. So this is a stock that I had on my alert, and it is above the 100-day moving average. So this is of interest to me. I like this breakout above that horizontal resistance, and it is in the gap. So I believe this stock will move higher. We can see that it's lower than where it opened. There's a 5-minute chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place a GTC alert, and I'd like to see it come through the high of the prior day at 3070. I'm much more interested if it can find the strength to get through that. So let's continue to look at the pop bull search. So these are some stocks that I would like on a swing basis. I'm going to click on AXTA. You can see big move up early today, big breakout. If I like it on a swing basis, it's going to probably be a really good day trade for me. And I mentioned this in the chat room today, right about in here. It's a little bit higher and it's trying to get through the high of the day. So as a day trader, I'd click alert, boom, tell me when it's through the high of the day. I'm going to add another indicator, 10SI. This is our relative strength indicator, and you can see orange line above 0 equals relative strength. That is our edge. I'm going to go back to a daily chart. I'm going to click on JBL. Really nice move. Opens here, powers higher all day in a flat market. Take a look at a 5-minute chart. You can see really nice strength, great relative strength in here. So this is a stock where you want to buy pullbacks. Go back to a daily chart. Choppy. I don't like stocks like this. I don't trade stocks like this. I want nice, tight, orderly price action, and I like stocks that when they start to make a move, they trend. They trend for a few weeks, sometimes even a few months. Those are my favorites because I can look at that chart and I can predict where that stock is going to go. I can't predict where this is going to go. I have no idea. It's all over the board. No, thank you. Choppy. Nice little breakout. This is a nice breakout. It's above the 50-day moving average. US Steel. Take a look at a 5-minute chart. Got a nice little break out here and then a pullback. This looks like a horizontal support level without any impetus from the market, no tailwind to drive this stock higher. Every stock that we would look at on a day like today has to have its own momentum. It cannot do it on its own. No, thank you. I need to see movement like this. Boom, 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 boom. That tells me the stock is going to move higher. Go to a daily chart. Nice little breakout here. This is not a bad candidate. Very choppy in here, but decent for a day trade. Not one that I would like for a swing trade. Here's Adobe. I found Adobe early this morning, and you saw me trade that. That was right after the open, and I bought it right in here on this bar, and I sold it right up here for a $2.50 gain. It was a very nice trade. Again, all time stamped in the chat room. You can see it pulls back, and now it's going to challenge that high again. There's probably another good day trade in it if the market has a little bit of strength. Now, Adobe, you can see, is very, very choppy, so I don't particularly like it for a swing trade unless the Fed comes out very dovish today. Then I would consider buying Adobe. A means that there were earnings after the close yesterday. So this is an earnings move. We have other ways of catching these as well. I like this a lot. There's your downtrend. We get above the 100-day, we're above the 200-day. Stock is grinding higher. Excellent, excellent, excellent for day trades. Marching, marching, marching higher. See, we've got really good relative strength here. We can see that. I like it for a swing trade. I really like it for a day trade too. This is just on Pop Bull. For you swing traders out there, this could be the only search you use. It's that good. And for day trading, I always check it because I've already shown you two stocks I really like, and I made great money. I made 2.5 points on Adobe in a flat market. That is beautiful. Take that anytime. So I always look at the daily, and then I look at the 5-minute. Here we've got a nice horizontal breakout. It's going to have a little bit of an issue getting through that, but it's been able to hold up all of these gains really well. Just a tiny little pullback. You got a nice compression here, earnings after the close, big gap up, and normally on a big gap up like this, anyone who's been long the stock will take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit. The stock will drift lower, probably find support at that opening price, and then it'll recoup itself, and then it'll stage a leg higher. In this case, there was no hesitation. Closed on the high, closed on the high, closed on the high. You get 3 bars like this, you got to buy. And it's almost a stupid buy because you're just saying, okay, I'm in. When you have that kind of momentum, and this holds true for day trades on a 5-minute basis, if you have the S&P 500 putting together 3 5-minute bars like this, don't even ask what the heck's going on. Just buy. That is a very strong price pattern. So in this particular case, the stock gets up to this high. This is where you could expect some big profit taking all the way back down, maybe into the middle of this range. Not so. Stock barely drifts lower, and here we go again. Right up on that high. I like this. I like this stock. This is one that I will highlight for a swing trade, and I'm not just looking for option trades for the swing trades. This is a stock that probably doesn't have real liquid options. We can go in and take a look at the stock rating, find out who the company is. Aerospace and defense. Okay, looks really good. I think this stock is going to continue to move higher. I'm going to put Adobe on the list. I haven't decided if that's one that I want to put for a swing or not. And we have a binary event happening today. The FOMC meeting could be very bullish or it could be very bearish. So I'm not going to load up on bullish swing trades or bearish swing trades today. I'll try and give you one of each. And I also want to go back. See, those are all super, super choppy. I want to go back to HEI for a second because this is the pattern I'm looking for. Look at how nice and tight that rally is. Stock goes into a little bit of a dip day after day. Oh, now we're reversing. We're going the other way. Look at that beautiful, nice, orderly, tight price action. These are the kind of stocks that we want to focus on. And unfortunately, there's no way for me to filter these out. So it just means that when you're flipping charts, you have to use your visual pattern recognition skills, which are easy to develop. I've just shown you what I like, and I've shown you that ironwood is not what I like. So this is the good, and this is the bad. You see this, run from it. You don't need this. This is crazy. You see this, this is also not bad. YUMC. Nice, nice, good predictable price action. So that is Pop Bull. That is one of my first stops as a day trader. And I have two stocks already that I like on it. I'm going to go into the counterpart, Pop Bear, and see if there's anything of interest here. Choppy, horizontal breakdown. Not bad, below all the major moving averages, but too choppy. KSS, steady, price pattern down, down, earnings horrible. Not a bad short, but getting a little bit oversold. I would prefer to see stocks that are in the middle of the range and breaking major moving averages. So we're not going to consider this as a short, but we might still be able to find another good short. I'm going to look at a couple of other searches, and we might have to do a custom search to find that good short. Shorts are going to be more difficult for us to find right now because the market has really rallied hard. ZM was a stock that came up on a bullish search. These searches right in here, I'm in the bearish column. These searches look for relative strength or weakness in this case, because we're bearish, we're looking for relative weakness on a 30-minute, 45-minute, 60-minute basis. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about day trading. And as I look for some day trading stocks, I'm sure I'll be able to find a bearish swing trade in there somewhere. But I really want to shift my focus right now to day trading. These are incredibly good searches. So the idea here is, let's say that the market opens 20 S&P points higher. What I want to do is I want to find stocks with relative weakness right out of the gate. So I would use this bearish 30 search, and it's going to show me these stocks. I'm going to go into a 5-minute basis here, and now we'll take a look at ZM. So in the last 30 minutes, the stock is weak relative to the market. Now ZM was on the counterpart 10RSW Bull 30 earlier, and we caught that move. You saw Dave in the chat room post this stock, and he bought it somewhere in here. I believe it was about a half an hour after the open. Look at that move. That is about a $2.50 move at least. It's really nice. So now it's starting to show some relative weakness. So let's start at the top. Let's take a look at some of these stocks. This has been a favorite, BYND. Actually, I found this on the bullish counterpart right in here when it started to pop up. And I ended up scratching it because I wanted to do this video, but it looked good and it had the relative strength that we were looking for. So the idea here is market rallies up huge. Show me the stocks that are not rallying. Show me the weakness. Which stocks are getting dragged higher by their hair? And the reason I want to know that is because if the market gaps higher and it doesn't hold that gap and it starts to reverse, these stocks are going to be the first ones to tank. They're already wanting to move lower. The only thing keeping them above water is the fact that the market's moving higher. So you've got some small underlying buying, but as soon as the market stalls, the bottom's going to drop out of those stocks. If you get any kind of market selling, whoosh, they're really going to drop. They're already weak. That's how we use it. This is a huge advantage for us. So let's take a look at some of the weakness here. AGN was another stock that was on the counterpart earlier. It was very strong. So in a flat market today, you're seeing stocks that have gone from relative strength, made a really nice big hardy move higher, and now that the market is stalled, they're starting to roll over and give some of those gains back, and that's why they're hitting the relative weakness searches. But personally, a stock that's gapping higher like this, and we'll take a look at the daily chart. So you've got a big gap here. You've got a downtrend line that's been broken. This stock has some good potential to continue to move higher. I'm not going to want to short this when it's been up all day during a weak market. I'm going to be looking for opportunities to buy these stocks, and some of the members will use this list to find stocks that are strong that have pulled back like this. So ZM and AGN are an excellent example. And so now what you would do as a day trader is you'd say, hey, if you can get me above this point where we knew there were sellers, that's the open of the bar, give me an alert. Let me know it's time to consider getting back in, and then the stock will challenge the high. I'll have some cushion. If it can't get through, I'll be able to take small profits. If it does go through, I might have a really big winner on my hands. So we're going to continue to look. Now, here's a really good short candidate. Here's where the relative weakness search really pays off. So we got big gap down. We have a trend line here that is just being breached right now. I would short this stock. It is relatively weak. So you can put this on your list, and it is June 19th. If you're watching this video a week or two later, go in and check this day and see what this stock does from this point on. It's going to probably test that low. This would be a really good shorting candidate. Let's take a look at what the daily chart looks like. Really choppy. I just take that back because the stock probably will go down and test that 200-day moving average, which is where it found support. So I think that it could still go down and test that level. ZM is an alert that I had placed earlier, just a few minutes ago. You saw that little pop-up down in the left-hand corner. It breached that price. This is where I would look to get long. It's that easy. You use the searches, you drop the alert lines, you wait for the alert to be triggered, you get the pop-up, you look at it again, watch the market, see what it's doing. Market's starting to rally a little bit. Okay, got a little market tailwind in here. That's it. Make 20, 30, 50 cents on a stock. So all you need is 2 or 3 of those per day, and you're going to make a lot of money. Everything we do, though, starts with the market. So market first, market first, market first. You've got all your market indicators in the chat room. You have me trading futures. You know which side of the market to be on. I'm providing play-by-play comments all day long. So that's what you need to lean on for the market. If I tell you I'm looking to buy futures in here, you should be thinking ZM was a really good stock earlier today. I want to buy it. So I'm going to continue to click down the list and see, I'm using only a 5-minute chart, see what other shorts might be of interest. That's really nice relative weakness. You can see there, the orange line is lower. It has continued to drift lower. What do we got on the daily chart? No, I don't like it. So we'll stick with the daily chart and see if there's anything that looks really weak on the daily chart, and then we'll know that we've got a good candidate. Mind you, the market's been up, up, up. DD, not bad. This is not a bad looking short. You get this massive bounce right here to the 100-day moving average. Stock tries a couple of times to challenge that level, can't get through. We've got our downtrend line here, which would be our stop. You could use the open from today as your stop, and it's breaking below the 50-day moving average. This would be a good short. This would be a good short. Got your bounce right here, got a very steep upward trend line here, breaks that trend line, starts to move lower. That's where you want to be shorting it. You also have a downtrend line from here that you can lean on for your stop, but I would use that level right there. Got a nice little inverted hammer right there. Great looking day trade. Steady selling, boom, boom, boom. We're going to test the low. Take a look at the daily chart. Might be a little toppy. Stock has been very, very strong though. So, and it's compressing in here. If you wanted to on a GTC basis, meaning that this alert will be out there until it's triggered, you can just drop it below this horizontal support line and then you'll get another alert. KLAC looks pretty good. I would not like that as a short, but we were able to just quickly go through here and find some decent shorts. TLRY is one that Dave traded from the long side earlier today. He did really well with it. It's got this 50-day moving average. This has been a high flyer in the past. If it can get through that 50-day moving average, I want to know about it. So that is how we use these searches. One option, relative strength, weakness, bear 30-minute basis, 45-minute basis, 1-hour basis. So if the market had been selling off for an hour, I want to go to the 60. Show me stocks that have been weak for an hour. You're seeing a little bit different flavor here. These are different symbols than what we saw in the 30-minute. There's the 30-minute. Quickly take a look. There's the 60-minute. So these are even showing more weakness. Click through and see if we can find anything on a daily basis that might be worth shorting. So I want to give you a short. This is a choppy stock, makes big moves. But that below the 100-day moving average and a downtrend and relative weakness, that's not a bad short. Not great options on it, but it has other qualities that I like. And again, this is for swing trading. This is not the ideal search. I'm just seeing if there's anything I can pick up visually that would give me that. Nope. So I'm going to go back to the bullish. We're going to take a look at the relative strength that we have here. Wow, this is beautiful. This is going to make it on. So now we're looking for stocks that have been relatively strong in the last 30 minutes. Look at that horizontal compression, breakout, new high. Oh yeah, there we go. There's news on it. That's a big move, and it's going to continue to move higher. I'd be buying this in here. Red hat. See how easy? Right at the top of the list. Boy, I wish I were in the chat room right now because I'd be all over it. Actually, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to see if there's anybody in the chat room who's trading that who picked up on it. I sure hope so. I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to post. Want everybody to look at that stock. So yes, RHT just made the list for a bullish swing trade. I'm going to keep taking a look. I got to like it on a daily basis, and then I will consider it for a day trade. That's pretty good. Having a little bit of an issue getting through. We've got a big hammer right there, inverted hammer, so we know there's some selling, but it's been creeping higher. I would like that as a stock trade. And we'll see if we can find anything in maybe one of the other searches that are a little bit longer term, like instead of using the 30-minute, let's take a look at the 60-minute. I'm just going to scan through here. Baidu, moving off of this low, it has been pounded. I would not be as anxious on these. That one's going to be very dependent on something happening with China trade talks. So the two searches that I go to very, very often for day trading are Pop Bull right out of the gate. After we've had about 30 minutes, an hour of trading, I'll start to use these relative strength and weakness searches, but we need to have the data. We need to be able to see the relative strength and weakness over a 30, 45, 60-minute period. So I tend to use these after the first hour of trading, give everything time to settle down. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to launch the custom search engine. Excuse me. This is gold. I'm going to click option liquidity. I like to trade stocks with liquid options. I also like to trade options on them. So I'm going to click option liquidity, stock greater than prior day high, and then I'm going to go in and mark heavy volume. Now if I use the D1 heavy volume, what that does is it looks at all of the volume so far today and it compares it to the average daily volume to this point in time in the day. And I'm going to click scan. And so if I use this search 30 minutes after the open or 15 minutes after the open, this is one of the searches I use right on the open. 5 minutes after the open, 10 minutes after the open. Show me a stock that has really heavy volume relative to its average volume over the last 20 days. Show me a stock that's got great option liquidity. Show me a stock that's greater than the prior day high, especially if the market is down. Here's a stock that's got heavy volume, great liquidity, and not only is it up, it's up above the prior day's high on a day when the market is selling off. It doesn't get any better than that. These stocks want to go, and there are buyers. This is a golden search, and I use it right out of the gate. And I use the counterpart as well. Show me a stock that's below the prior day low. High volume, below the prior low, liquid options, gold. So on a day like yesterday where you had a 20-point gap up in the market, I'm running this search right here all day long. You got a 20-point S&P gap up higher, and this stock is below the prior day's low, and it has heavy volume in liquid options. Okay. So I could run that search, but I want to take a look at these stocks first. And these searches are all dynamic. And this is how I found Adobe right out of the gate today. I mentioned to you about 10 minutes ago, it's going higher. And it's going to break out to a new high. There it goes. I know that there's a lot of skepticism out there. There are a lot of people who have searches and products and newsletters and whatnot. I show you everything I do. And so I don't just talk about it, I do it day in and day out, and so do our members. This works. So I'm going to click on the other symbols that came up in this search. I would do it on this page, but then this window gets hidden, so it's harder for me to keep bringing it back in and clicking. This is good. Remember I told you it showed up on our relative weakness, and we may have had a member or two looking to buy it in this area. Not much. Here you can draw a trend line like this for your stop. You connect that low, and that would be my stop, would be right about here. But you can buy this stock, and as I mentioned earlier, now that you've got a good entry point in it, if it challenges the high but can't get through, you can take small profits on it. If it does get through, you have a chance for a whopping winner. I like those scenarios. And you have a tight stop. There's another one. Let's take a look at the daily chart. A little bit choppy. Chart for today looked good though. So again, these are high volume, stock above prior day high, liquid options. Above the 200-day moving average, above the 100-day moving average, gapped above them. There's the open, been grinding higher in a quiet market day. Look at M5, 5-minute chart. You can see the relative strength in here. There you go. And what you can do, I just click the buy sell signal on the platform. This tells you when to be long and when to be short. Buy here, short here, stop out right there. We're on a buy signal. Here's how I like to use it. Give me a buy signal, and I want it to have relative strength. If I've got these two things, then I wait for one of those two to fail, either a sell signal, which would be red, or the orange line drops below zero. Until I have either of those two, I stay in the trade. Very, very easy. Get asked all the time, how do you place your stops? This is a semi-automated method for trading. Wait for the green arrow, make sure we're above zero. If either one changes, exit the trade. This stock could go up and challenge this high, but it's an iron producer. So very cyclical, very choppy. And I'll see if there's a better example, like Adobe would probably have been a really good example to use that systematic approach. So you got your buy signal, you got your relative strength. Okay, so you're in the trade. Do you get stopped out there? No, it still has relative strength. Does it have a red arrow? No. Okay, we're still all systems go on it. So if you had been in on this early in the day, there you would stop out for sure because you've got the red arrow. Be prudent on a flat day like today to take profits. And I took profits right up here. I told everyone I'm looking to get out on the first sign of weakness. So stock has a giant green bar, starts to pull back. Now fortunately, it did close near the high of that bar. I did not wait. I was like, okay, I'm just glad to get back up close to this high. I'm out. I took profits. So that was a nice exit, but that was my thinking. Stock pulls back, you start to get these bullish hammers like this. That's a sign that there's support. Tail under body is support. Tail under body, tail under body. Those are all things that I like to look for. And you still got the good relative strength. Adobe is going to move higher today, you'll see. So I'm going to go down and look at the next stock, FITB. Not too crazy about that. Again, this is the high volume liquid options. You've got a downtrend here that you can draw. See that downtrend line? If the chart looked good on a daily basis, look at that. That's a problem. That's the 200-day moving average. They have no interest in buying this stock. That's going to be resistance all day. Ahead of the FOMC? No. 50-day moving average getting in the way there. These moving averages are like magnets. And once the stock gets there, it doesn't want to move higher and get through it. So very, very important to look at those major moving averages on a daily basis, even if you are day trading, because they come into play. Really nice. Look at this. This is great. It's choppy in here. It's consolidating. It's compressing. We've got a volume spike here. We've got good relative strength here. There's something going on with this stock. It gaps higher, closes near its high of the day, gaps higher, grinds higher, flat market. Yeah. So, drop your alert line. TLRY, big move up. There's your downtrend line right there off of the high. Downtrend line is broken. You get in the trade. Here, if you bought up here, you stopped out there using the method I showed you earlier. But this stock looks like it wants to go TLRY, very, very choppy stock. This is a nice stock. I mean, this is a nice move. A little bit of a horizontal breakout, really choppy otherwise. Looks strong today, but be a little careful with that. VIAB, breakout above the 200-day moving average, very choppy. Takeover candidate. I believe Comcast is looking to buy them. And there's another iron. It's U.S. Steel. As long as it holds that 200-day, it might be okay for a day trade. So I'm going to bring this back in. I'm going to show you again. High volume, option liquidity, stock above prior day high. And we'll take a quick look to see if we might be able to find that short that I'm looking for. Just going to quickly flip through these. Nope, not seeing it. With the market at close to an all-time high, it's going to be a little bit challenging to find a short. And if nothing else, I will give you parameters to short one of the indices if I can't find a short. But I want to keep going on some of the searches that I like to use. Here's another day trading search that is really effective. Post earnings. I'm going to move off of this high volume right here. Who announced earnings yesterday after the close or today before the open? Adobe. We've already looked at it. KHC. Not much going on there. Trying to break out of this compression, but it doesn't move much. So during earnings season, when you have 100, 200 companies announcing earnings, boy, oh boy, this is just an awesome, awesome search, because then we start getting into some of the other criteria that we can use to filter these stocks out. And that's what we're going to do right now, is we'll use some of these criteria, but I'm going to focus more on a daily basis. I will say that if I'm looking for a stock that has high volume and I mark this 15-minute box bullish, so the stock has to be higher than yesterday's close to qualify for bullish. And so, excuse me, I'm sorry. On high volume, it's just looking for volume. It's other criteria that filter out whether it's bullish or bearish. So this is just going to look for volume spikes. If we wanted to, we'd have to mark one of these two boxes to get into bullish or bearish category. I will usually just take a look and see, well, what's got high volume in the last 15 minutes? And this volume is sorted, and it just keeps going higher. We're going to see if we can find anything that looks like Adobe. That's the pattern we're looking for. Straight up. This is not bad. Takes out the high from yesterday, takes out the high from day. Got a number of green boxes together. Does it do it for us on a daily basis? No. And this is an ETF. So we'll keep trying. Nothing great there. And this is what you do during the course of the day. Eventually, you're going to find one or two really good stocks. And I think we looked at this one earlier. I mean, that's a great move right there. Yep, I like this one. It's through the 50-day moving average. Definitely would day trade this one. If it can get through this resistance level right here, then it could really have a chance to go. But it's probably going to find resistance right at that horizontal line right there. But you've got a drop and then a little dip right off that 100-day moving average. It wants to challenge that resistance. It's been super strong today. This is a nice chart. Good, 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 good. Follow through. So maybe it'll get through there while we still have our recording going here. This might be a good short. Again, we're just looking for heavy volume in the last 15 minutes. These stocks have momentum. So this could be a new low of the day right here. It is a new low of the day. It's not a big mover because it's such a cheap stock. And it's below that 50-day moving average. This is a good short. It's breached the 50-day, great relative weakness, right in there. Continues to move lower. I'm going to overlay the SPY. That's the gray line. Look what the market's done. Up, up, up. Stock down, down, down. Below the 50-day. Okay? It's a good day trade. I don't particularly like trading cheap stocks, but that's a good one. Here you got your heavy volume search. We already looked at this one. And we're using it on a 15-minute basis. Looks good. Another good short. Got a little bit of a bounce here off of the low of the day, so you'd want to see it come back down and fix that. Got decent bounce off the low here. Got some good weakness. Let's take a look at that daily chart. Downward sloping trend line here. Got an upward sloping trend line here. This is a wedge formation. This stock is going to go one way or the other. It's below the 50-day. Relative weakness. It's trying to fill in this gap, so it still has some movement downward. Today, not good. You can see how it's bouncing off the low, but this would be a good short if the FOMC statement comes out bearish. You put your alert line right here. You get the bearish FOMC. There are ways to trade through the platform as well. I should mention that. You click the buy button, drop the line, and it's going to buy at that limit price when it's hit. You could also put a buy line above the current price, and the system will know that it's a buy stop limit. If you put a line above this current price and it's a sell, then it's going to know that it is a sell limit order, and it will look in your account to see if you have the shares. If you do not have the shares, then it will assume that you are selling short. And similarly, if you drop the sell below this line right here, and you had a position in the stock, a long position, it would know that you are entering a sell stop order. So very easy to trade stock from the chart. Just drop these buy and sell lines. You can cancel them at any time. Or you can simply use alert lines. I prefer to use alert lines because then I don't have a bunch of pending orders out there, and I can really just focus on the alert when it comes up. So Twitter may be short. I'm having a hard time finding anything really good. Uber, big volume over the last 15 minutes. Making a new high here. This is a good trade. This is a great day trade. Now, if I weren't talking for the last 5 or 10 minutes, we would have probably seen it in here, which would have been even better, but I'm gabbing away. This is a good movement here. Uber is going to go higher today. Any pullback would be a definite buy. There's Viacom pulling back. It's a takeover stock. As I mentioned earlier, cyclical stock, U.S. Steel, had a little nice opening bounce earlier. It's giving it back. These stocks have been absolute dogs. So let's go back and recap. This video is getting pretty lengthy, so I'm going to have to cut it short. This is simply using heavy volume on a 15-minute basis on any of these time frames. I have gone back and I've dissected every 5-minute period of every stock for every day, and I've averaged that exact 5-minute time period each day, and I know exactly what the volume should be for that 5-minute time period. So if I get a spike where the volume is 150% above its average, it's going to show up on this search. Really, really good. Gosh, let me show you a couple others. Now I got to start speeding through this. This is a 4-bar breakout. It may or may not return any results. This would be looking for 4 consecutive green bars that are closing near their high. and we didn't have anything in this search. Let's see if there's a bearish counterpart here. Nope. It's pretty hard criteria to meet. But when you get them, look at that. Uber. Hello. There's your stock. Came up on that saying this is a really, really strong move. Let's take a look and see if there's a bearish. Nope, nothing bearish there. And the longer you go, the more appropriate the stock would be for a swing trade. And this might be how I find my bearish trades. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, very easy. 4-bar breakout, 4 red bars on a 30-minute basis consecutively. Liquid options. You can mix and match these search criteria. There are probably searches my customers have that I've never even discovered that are just incredible. And that's okay. Boom, 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 boom. Very bearish price action. Okay, starting to break below this uptrend line here. Horizontal support right here at the 50-day moving average. This is going to be one of our shorts contingent upon it being below that price level, which I believe is 38.20. I'm going to write it down. And we got one other to look at. MGM, still flying kind of high. I'm going to come back through and I'm going to continue to use this. I'm going to expand and see if we've got anything else that comes up on the bearish side. Starbucks, interesting. Starbucks has been very strong. Maybe it's getting a little toppy. It is getting a little toppy. There's a big bearish engulfing pattern. Got selling there on a big bullish day yesterday. Got a little bit of a hammer today, so there's some support in it. But this is one of those where the stock is being dragged higher by its hair. I would say Starbucks might be ready to not roll over, but starting to see some profit taking. If I were in Starbucks, I would be taking profits for sure. Running out of time here, so now I'm just off screen looking for some of these 4-bar possibilities. And that's not a bad one. That's John Deere up through this 100-day moving average and really powering through. Very choppy stocks. They're just not one of my favorites to trade. And as I start getting into a D1 4-bar bearish, it's going to be very limited because the market's been in such a strong rally. But I did put in a 4-bar bullish search for you swing traders looking for good bullish candidates. This is what came up. Okay, Microsoft, Whirlpool, Consolidated, CF Industries, excuse me, Comcast. Let's take a look at them. Nice big breakout there. Pretty good there. Microsoft. Okay. Hey, I'm going to put Microsoft on the bullish list. Once again, the bullish list is longer than the bearish list, but we are close to an all-time high. So that's how everything is going to be slanted. I'm going to show you a couple of really quick searches. I can't go through the results, but I want to show you the flexibility of what you can do here. We've mentioned heavy volume. We've mentioned 4-bar breakouts. Let's say that I just want to look for a stock that's in a very strong uptrend. I go to the daily column. This is ADX. Very strong trend indicator. I'll click through just a couple of these. These could be, look at that, just gorgeous breakout. Goodbye. Well, BYND's on there. I'm not going to click on that one. It's been off to the races. There's a nice chart. That's got a good head of steam through horizontal resistance. I'm going to go back here and just say that I don't like stocks that make that kind of move off of a big low and then have to get through horizontal resistance. That's a big reach. I would rather have the stock come up, compress, gap up and through, because I feel like it's already had to move so far. GLD getting a little bit of action today. We got a Fed meeting. Gold usually moves pretty big on a Fed meeting. Roku. We've been long this, gosh, back when it broke out right in here. We were all over that. We've been day trading the heck out of Roku. Look at that move. If you look at some of my previous videos, you'll see it as well. Starbucks. So that's using ADX as an indicator, and you can use it on a 5 basis as well. You can use it on a, and let's do that, use it on a 5-minute basis. There's Adobe, there's Abbott. This is what we use for day trading. So you can also go in, find stocks that are on a trade signal. Let's use daily, for instance. And we're going to be looking for negative pressure. I discussed this in one of my videos. And we're going to look for strength versus SPY. So this is all based on our system trade signals. You can use all that. We look for compressions. I'll do engulfing very quickly too. So those would be some of your candidates. These have a multitude of things working in their favor, like Amazon, AXP, look at that. BAC, got to get through that 50-day, but man, that looks good. Baidu we looked at, kind of a bottom fisher there. Really nice bottom fisher here as well. So these are stocks that are coming up on this search. Let's go in real quick, and I'm going to show you. Go in and look for a capitulation, bullish capitulation on a daily basis. Here are your stocks. So this would be a stock that has bottomed out and now is bouncing. Bottomed out, bullish hammer, above that opening, makes the list. Really nice. So if you're looking for stocks that are grossly oversold to buy, this is your search. You can also go in and use an engulfing pattern on a daily basis. You can do this on a 5-minute basis, on a 15-minute basis. It works great. If you look at all the different criteria that you can pick from, this is so easy. And then you save the search and you name it and you describe the criteria that helped you find it. That's how we do this. And there are searches, the searches that you save. And so I might as well show you how to do that, but I'll go through a couple of the search results here. And so this is a bullish engulfing pattern. We had it yesterday, AGN, right there. Right there. So this is also very helpful search. But I'm going to go back to one of my originals because I use it all the time, and I might have even saved this one. I haven't in this particular version of the platform, but I'm going to scan. I'll show you how to save. So here we just put in whatever we want to call it. Let's say heavy volume because I want to keep this short. And then you describe it here. What criteria did you use? Save and close. Now when I go into, and you mark it bullish or bearish, I didn't show you that. Search bullish or is it bearish? Save and close. Go into my searches. There it is, heavy volume. Now every time I want to use it, I just go into my searches, click it, boom, done. Oh hey, I can't remember what the heck I put into this search. Well then you click this little edit bar up here and it'll take you back to the search. You'll be able to see the criteria that you marked. So what I do in the chat room is I post these pictures so that members can see the searches that I used to find the trades. But there's just a ton of stuff that we use for day trading. You can use these same criteria whether it's day trading or swing trading. So it's time to conclude the video. It's getting a little bit lengthy. Let's go in, let's create a list, and I'm going to name it June 19th. And we had HEI, ADBE, YUMC, RHT, MSFT, TWTR was a short, JCI was a short. But these are going to come with conditions. Market first, market first, market first. This 50-day moving average must be breached before we get short. Now we're talking about swing trading. Day trading, FOMC comes out bearish today and we see the market decline. After 10-15 minutes, I'm going to short the heck out of the futures and any other thing that moves. But I would like to see this low right here, this opening price right here, 291.39. I'd like to see the market close below that before I start aggressively shorting on a day trading basis. That was a breakout. That was resistance. Now it's support. When that fails, then we could see a pullback to this 50-day moving average. But until we see follow through below that 50-day moving average, you should not short on a swing basis. So you can use that 50-day moving average as your level to short the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones DIA or QQQ, whatever you are preferring to trade. So you can get short if that's breached on the FOMC. I've given you a bunch of stocks that we want to buy if the reaction to the FOMC is favorable. Ideally, we'd like to see this all-time high breached to the upside. If we do, it's go-go mode. But I would still prefer to trade stocks relative to the futures because the futures could be a little whippy trying to get through that all-time high. So your stock choices would be Adobe through this high, 291, HEI through that resistance right there to a new all-time high would be good. And your stop would be right there on that horizontal support. JCI was a short. There we need to see the stock trade below this 38.20 level. Then it's a good short. Whoops, didn't talk about a stop, did I? Your stop on JCI would be right here at this prior horizontal resistance, which is $30 and $39.60. We don't need to let it get all the way up there. If you're more aggressive trader, you can let it move all the way up to that all-time high before you stop out. But it has to be below this low. So, I mean, if I'm trading it and it's below this low and the market's falling apart, I short it here, I get a little bit of a profit. Guess where my stop's going to be? That 50-day moving average. I'm not going to let it come all the way back up here. I'm going to keep it pretty tight, especially on the short side. You've got to be so careful with your shorts because you get tweets coming out all the time and then the market loves it and the Fed says something even a little bit dovish and go rally, buy, buy, buy. The big issue that the market has right now from a short perspective, interest rates globally are so low that investors are getting pushed out on the risk curve. They have to go into equities because bond yields don't even keep pace with inflation. So until we see a credit crisis, I think there's always going to be a very strong bid to the market. Enough on that. Microsoft we like. Microsoft, that is your stop right there. That opening opening right there, which was 133.88, I think it is. But use that open as your stop. You get in, it pulls back, it takes out that, you got to get out. RHT, like that. Stock still looks good actually. It's still holding those gains. Let's see. Yep, it's starting to compress, but it's holding these gains. So here, I would put your stop probably right at that low right there. If you're day trading it today, you don't want to see it go much below that. If it does, I wouldn't buy it here. I would only buy a breakout above that level. And I want to know about it when it happens. Like RHT on a swing basis though. Twitter was a short, and we want to see it below this horizontal support line. We want to see it fill in that gap. It's a choppy, volatile stock. We'll use the 50-day moving average as our stop on this one. But we need to see, for the swing trades on the short side, Twitter and JCI, we need to see the SPY below the 50-day moving average. For the longs, we want to see the market make a new all-time high. Then we feel really good about taking long positions. YUMC, love it. That's your stop at the 50-day moving average. When you get a big move higher like that, I don't like to buy into a feverish pitch. I want to see a pull back to the middle of this green bar, which is 43.50. So that would be your entry, and that would be your exit. So 42.84 is your exit, that 50-day moving average. So you've got about 60 cents that you're willing to give up on the downside. Nice, decent upside. Wow. That was a lot of information that I just gave you. If you're a swing trader using Option Stalker, I hope that I gave you some great trade ideas. Even though I used some shorter term criteria to find day trades, just use a longer time horizon and use that same criteria on a H4 or a D1 basis, and you're going to come up. You're going to find your stocks. You're going to have a number of search criteria that you develop, and you're going to have searches that you develop. Maybe it's 2 or 3 searches, and you know that if you go through those searches for 5 minutes each night, you use your visual pattern recognition skills, look for those nice, tight, orderly patterns where the stock, once it gets in a trend, it continues that trend. If you do that, this is going to be really easy for you. Start setting your alerts. Swing traders, use GTC alerts. That alert will be out there until the condition is met. So you might have a stock that you like, but it may take 2 or 3 weeks to trigger, but when it does, you're going to be happy you did that. And you turn on your computer screen one day, you might have 2 or 3 candidates that pop up instantly, and you don't even have to do anything more. The trades were delivered to you. That's the beauty of Option Stalker. Thank you so much for patiently attending the entire presentation. Go back and check these stocks. I'm sure that you'll find that they all did what they were supposed to. Binary event in the market right now. Still don't know, are we buying or are we shorting? We're going to know that after the FOMC reaction today. This is a quadruple witch. Whatever direction that FOMC statement takes, we're likely to see continuation for the rest of the day, perhaps even into Thursday. Thank you. Trade well.